The Israeli prime minister warning that Iran would be on the brink of nuclear weapons capability in just 6 months, giving it the ability to wipe Israel off the map, which is exactly what Iran has said it will do. This is a far shorter time frame than most previous estimates. And that means the window of opportunity to launch military strikes against Tehran's nuclear facilities is quickly closing. Benjamin Netanyahu using a sports metaphor to describe the new urgency.
You can't let them cross that goal line. You can't let them score a touchdown, because that would have unbelievable consequences, grievous consequences for the peace and security of us all, of the world, really.
The U.S. has rejected what Israel is calling a red line. That's a line that, if crossed, could trigger military action. On Fox News Sunday, our ambassador to the United Nations, Susan Rice, saying other options are still viable.
We still think that there is time. Through economic pressure, which is unprecedented as well. Iran's economy is now shrinking by 1% a year. Its oil production is down 40%. Its currency has plummeted 40% just in the last several months as sanctions have gone into fullest effect. We think there's still time and space for that pressure to yield a result.
Rick Leventhal is live in Jerusalem for us tonight. And Rick, the Prime Minister saying he will not wait for the United States to use force against Iran, and he may not wait for the presidential election either.
Right, Harris. The Prime Minister says he's not guided by the American political calendar, but by the Iranian nuclear calendar. He says Israel has the right to defend itself against any threat. He says Tehran is racing to build an atom bomb and that the U.S. needs to act with more urgency because time is running out. He also compares Iran to the militants who've been attacking U.S. embassies across the Middle East, Northern Africa, and Europe. He says Iran puts its zealotry ahead of its survival, claiming Iran has suicide bombers, quote, all over the place, and says it would be a grave mistake not to stop them before it's too late.
Since the advent of nuclear weapons, you've had countries that had access to nuclear weapons who always made a careful calculation of cost and benefit. But Iran is guided by a leadership with an unbelievable fanaticism. It's the same fanaticism that you see storming your embassies today. You want these fanatics to have nuclear weapons?
So Netanyahu's still insisting on a deadline for Iran to abandon its nuclear program or some kind of limit on the amount of uranium it can enrich before military action is taken, Harris.
And what about the Iranian response? What are we hearing?
Well, the top commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard held a news conference today. He said his country's missiles will ensure that nothing will remain in Israel if Israel should attack Iran. He provided unusual detail today, saying that militants in Gaza and also in Lebanon will unleash rocket strikes across the borders. He also says that Iran will empty its missile arsenal. And he says so many missiles will rain down that no spot in Israel will be safe. He also said that Iran would launch major attacks on U.S. military bases across the region and block the Strait of Hormuz, threatening some major retaliation if Iran should strike, and a major retaliation against the U.S., even if the U.S. is not involved, Harris.
So, in other words, more threats continue from Iran to our strong ally, Israel, tonight. Rick Leventhal, thank you very much.